Hello, good evening to everybody who has joined this session. This is Aslesha and I am from Naukri campus team. So today I welcome you all to the expert speak session of J&J with Naukri campus. So I would like to quickly introduce you to Mr. Alok, who is the business unit leader at Johnson's& and Johnson's. So Alok Mehta is a seasoned sales and marketing professional with over 15 years of experience in healthcare sector. After graduating from SIBM Pune in 2028, Alok began his career with SAB Myler before joining Johnson's& and Johnson's in 2011. Over the past 14 years, he has advanced to the position of business unit leader, Ethicon wound closure and biosurgery driven strategic initiatives, business growth and sales excellence. To here is Mr. Alok, one of the panelist members for today's session. Over to you, Mr. Alok.
Thank you, Ashlisha, and thank you to the Naukri team. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Alok Malshid, and on behalf of Johnson and Johnson India, I warmly welcome you to this Web Connect. Uh, I also want to take this opportunity to thank all of you for your interest in Johnson and Johnson. With about 1,040 employees across the globe, 140,000 employees across the globe, including 1,000 employees in India, Johnson and Johnson continues to be one strong talent magnet. And I hope at the end of the session, some of you make up your mind to be part of this 139 years of legacy that is Johnson and Johnson. Now, to go ahead and speak about Johnson& Johnson, before that, I'll just quickly introduce myself and thank you, Aslesha, for already doing it. But as mentioned earlier, I'm Alok Malchid. I lead Ethicon Wound Closure and Biosurgery as a business under the MedTech umbrella of Johnson& Johnson. Now, I've been with this organization for about 15 years, and it's been one outstanding ride. Looking forward to interacting with all of you. Now, once we speak about the Johnson& Johnson as a company, for most of you on the call, the mental imagery of a Johnson& Johnson will probably start and end with a baby care products. But the truth is, it is much more than baby care products. Now, though we are immensely proud of our heritage in terms of Band-Aid, in terms of the baby care products, or even the Neutrogena, the truth is that's completely a separate company right now. So a couple of years back, we hived off our consumer health sector, which was our third sector, into a separate company called Kenvue. So it continues to continue and thrive under the Kenvue umbrella. But then what is Johnson& Johnson? So the Johnson& Johnson company as of today is basically a two-sector company. The first is, of course, the innovative medicine, which previously was known as the Janssen Pharmaceutical, which is nothing but the pharmaceutical division of Johnson& Johnson. And the second and a comparatively smaller division is the MedTech division. Now, this smaller is a very comparative or a very relative term. Now, the business size of MedTech globally is about $30 billion in 2024. Whereas for the innovative medicine, it is to the tune of about $60 billion. So together, we stand at a behemoth $90 billion of revenue for the year 2024. Now, moving on to the next slide. Yes. So today we are here to speak more about the Johnson & Johnson MedTech as a business. Now, I understand all of you are the MedTech, biomed engineers and biotechnology engineers. So as you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, there are about 12 platforms on which the entire MedTech business stands. These are billion-dollar plus platforms, as we call them. Each of them, for example, has $1 billion worth of sales globally. And these are the cornerstones of our success in the MedTech field. And starting with wound closure, which I represent, there is endocutter, there is energy, biosurgery, the hips and knee replacement business, there is the surgical vigil business, and of course the heart recovery business. So these are some of the platforms on which Johnson & Johnson operates worldwide and continues to thrive. Moving on to the next slide. Now, one of the things dealing with Johnson & Johnson, and some of you may have come across, is Johnson & Johnson is very well known for its Credo. Now, Credo as we call it, the moral compass of the organization. It basically tells us the guiding principles of this organization. So, as a Johnsonian, whenever I'm in any doubt, my first instinct is to have a look at the credo and decide on my next course of action. And the credo clearly states that as an organization, we have four responsibilities. The first responsibility, and the most important probably, is that our responsibility towards the patients, the surgeons, the nurses, the mothers and fathers, the hospitals that we cater to. So this is the customer centricity that with which we drive this organization. Uh, and of course, for any kind of serving this group to the fullest, innovation comes very handy. And I'll probably speak about it in detail in my subsequent talk. Secondly, our responsibility towards the employees. And it is very clear from the fact that, as I mentioned earlier, we have been able to attract the right talent for last 139 years, which has made this company a global behemoth. Not only that, in terms of world's most admired companies or the great places to work, you will routinely see Johnson & Johnson being featured. And I think that's the testament to the work that is being done within the system. The third part is, of course, with the communities that we work in. So we believe as a corporation, we have our duty towards the community where we operate in. And it is just not our employees or our patients, be it the environment, be it the local communities where we serve through our corporate social responsibility initiatives, we have a responsibility for that as well. And on the fourth, and most importantly, is our the shareholders' return. For any organization to continue for about 140 years, it is important that it continues to deliver financial results to make it itself viable. There is no other company in the world which has been able to deliver dividends for 62 consecutive years, and that too on an increasing basis. Johnson is that company wherein one of that unique, which has unique distinction of being a company with a shareholder return or increasing shareholder wealth for last 62 years on a trot. So these are some of the things which make this company a great company to be in. But whenever you are dealing with Johnson and Johnson, one word or rather you will come across very often, and that is the innovation part of it. Now, why Johnson and Johnson has been able to survive and thrive for so many years is that we have differentiated in every segment that we play in. I showed you the 12 platforms that we work in across globally. In each platform, we are either number one or number two globally in each of the market that we operate in. And that is possible only when you invest heavily in the innovation of the products that you bring in the market. So the products that we bring in the market, they actually help in quicker recovery, quicker healing, and a patient comfort to a greater extent. And that's how we have been able to differentiate ourselves with the competition. Now, to drive innovation, and this is something which you, being coming from a engineering background, will appreciate to a larger extent, that some of the initiatives that we drive, first and foremost, Johnson has a amazing eye for spotting the right companies in the market. We have a very strong mergers and acquisitions team globally. We have been able to spot companies which have a unique solution, and probably we have been able to acquire them, scale it up to a higher level, and have it as a global solution. And of course, this is apart from the internal innovation that is happening. Second is with the J Labs. So we call Johnson Labs, basically we call them J Labs. So these are the incubation centers wherein it is given a free hand to scientists and the engineers to come work on a certain projects, and J&J ensures the funding. And if the product is at the final stage, J&J ensures the marketing of the product as well. So this is where we have played our role in the innovation. And apart from that, of course, there is marketing partnerships that we drive with smaller companies, wherein we are help them to get their products reached to a wider audience. And lastly, again, the value investing with respect to some of the companies where we think they are working on a future ready solutions. So everything that we do at Johnson and Johnson is for future readiness. The idea is not to rest on your laurels, work on the products which have been invented 140 years back, but to keep continuously inventing. Not to say that the current products have uh, any kind of a shortage, but at the same time, the idea is to innovate to such a way that with the changing dynamics, we are able to cater the customer demand to the fullest. And that's where the strategic partnerships come into picture. Next slide, please. And largely, I have already mentioned that as an organization, we are immensely proud of the three things. Firstly, the quality of our products, which we think is world class. Secondly, is with respect to the talent that we are able to attract throughout, which is again best in the industry. And the third and most important is education. Now, two questions here. Firstly, you may be wondering that I just now spoke that we are in the business of manufacturing and marketing medical devices. Where does the education come into picture? But the truth is, the products that we bring in the market have a certain learning curve. These are the products which are deployed in a human body, and as a result, we want the safe and effective use of our product to be there. And as a result, we as a company invest heavily in the surgeon training as well. Now, though it is very difficult for me to admit, let's accept that probably some of the other companies operating have a good quality products as well. Some of the other companies have good manpower or a trained manpower as well. But one thing which clearly differentiates Johnson & Johnson from its peers is the amount that we keep investing in the innovation as well as the surgeon education part. And so in your regular day-to-day life, there may be some of your relatives, some of your acquaintances who may be surgeons. Please make it a point to go and ask them how has Johnson & Johnson touched their lives, and they all will be appreciative that at a different stage in their lives, right from the time they were in their medical college or the post graduation or the residentship, Johnson & Johnson has worked with them and or rather helped them understand the nitty-gritties of surgery. It could be as basic as the suture training that we conduct across India. It could be the more advanced cadaver trainings. But in every sphere of education, Johnson & Johnson has been along with the surgeon community, not in India, but globally as well. And that is where you see when you speak to a surgeon, there will be a lot of gratitude towards Johnson & Johnson because he believes that he or she believes that Johnson has been immensely critical in his or her growth as a surgeon. And that's what they appreciate to a greater extent. Now, one more fun fact is apart from the physical institute, we call it Johnson Johnson Institute. We have one in Chennai. We have two full-size Volvo buses, long axle Volvo buses. We call them Johnson and Johnson Institute on Wheels. So these are the Volvo buses which actually cover the nook and corner of this country to ensure that we are able to get the education at the doorstep of every medical college. Now, some of you may not have heard places like Parbhani in Maharashtra, say Chidambaram in Tamil Nadu, Sambalpur in Odisha, probably Saifai in Uttar Pradesh. Now, these are the typical tier 3, tier 4 towns, which probably if you're not from that geographical areas, you will never know. But can you imagine the two buses that I spoke about, they actually cover the length and breadth of the country in a year. So together, both these buses cover about 250 towns in a year, wherein they go take the necessary permissions, park in a medical college, and that is where the residents and the postgraduates can have a feel of the suturing or the energy devices inside the bus. There are 8 stations which are placed inside the bus, wherein the budding surgeons can test their skills in a free environment. So that's the kind of impact that we have had overall in India and globally, and that's what makes a company a unique proposition. So as I said, it's an immense pride for us that we bring in the best in quality products to the market. We are able to attract the best talent out that is there in the industry. And lastly, our efforts on education, which of course are separate from our business, our efforts in ensuring that we elevate the standard of care through giving the necessary training to surgeons is what I think makes Johnson Johnson a very different company than its competitors. So that's primarily from my side. We have two immensely talented young talent from Johnson & Johnson who have recently completed their education and are on board. So I hand over to Chanel Priyamvada for their thoughts and their experiences with Johnson & Johnson. Over to you, Chanel and Priyamvada.
Thank you, Alok, and thank you for having me on this platform. My experience with J&J has been a pretty great experience. I was an intern, similarly, in the month of October 2024. I completed 6 months of internship in the orthopedic sector of Johnson& and Johnson, post which I am now a territory manager at the surgery division, Ethicon Endosurgery, where we deal with the endo cutters, energy, endomechanical parts, And it's been a pretty fruitful experience having to have the OT experience, assisting surgeons, getting to know how various devices work, how MedTech has gone way beyond we even imagine. And apart from that, having to engage surgeons in great programs that we usually conduct, as Alok mentioned, in all the different types of programs we conduct. The education part of it, the product knowledge part of it, and pretty much the growth part of it. Because I was also recently on a project where I worked with the marketing team and helped develop Endomec toolbox, which is spread pan India to help surgeons understand why our technology the way it is. So it was a very fun and innovative experience for me to get like a hands-on complete experience on how J&J works, networking with great people from different parts of the country, the marketing team, the sales team, the various strategic partners. And overall it's been a pretty fruitful experience for me in terms of learning, and the learning curve and growth experience here would be immense. So this is from my side. Without taking too much time, I'll just pass it on to Priya, who is also my colleague and a classmate, to share her experience.
Greetings, all. Thank you for providing me with such a wonderful platform. So, actually, coming to this, it's a truly honor to share my journey as an intern at Johnson and Johnson MedTech, particularly with the Ethicon Endosurgery in the vibrant city of Kolkata, where I started my career. When I first stepped into the world of medical devices, I had a mixture of excitement as well as nervousness. I knew I was entering not just a company, but a legacy in an organization that has been shaping healthcare for over a century. And uh, coming to the internship platform would be more than just a professional experience. It would be a journey of growth, learning, and transformation, as it was for me. From day one, I was welcomed with warmth and trust. My mentors and colleagues didn't just guide me, they empowered me. They helped me understand the dynamics of the surgical world, the significance of each product, and how every action or big directly impacts a patient's life. And coming to this, one of the most inspiring aspects of my internship was witnessing firsthand the kind of impact Ethicon products have in an operating room. From advanced energy devices to cutting edges, as Shanail said, like staplers, like endomechanics, each tool is a result of innovation aimed at improving surgical outcomes and saving lives. As an intern, I was given the opportunity to understand the science behind them, the strategy to promote them, the ethics to support them, like responsibility of it. I had the chance to visit hospitals, interact with healthcare professionals, and even assist the team in field activities. The real time exposure gave me insights into not just the medical device industry, but also the dedication and resilience required in line of work. And I should say this also. What I stood out the most for me was the culture at Johnson and Johnson. It wasn't just about targets and performances, it was about people. Every conversation echoed the company's credo. And like every decision was made with the patient at the center. I learned the value of compliance, the importance of integrity, and the power of collaboration also. Throughout the internship, there were challenges, of course. It will be there in every scenarios. But every challenge came with an opportunity to learn. Whether it was preparing for a product presentation, managing our data, or simply navigating the complex healthcare ecosystem, I was encouraged to think, act, and grow. As I look back on my time at Johnson and Johnson MedTech in Kolkata, I feel immense gratitude that the internship has not only equipped me with professional skills but has also instilled in me a deeper sense of purpose. And now I'm immensely happy that I'm working as a tertiary account manager at Cochin as an on roll. From an intern to an on roll manager, it was a really great journey, and every day it is a new learning experiences. And it is always a journey of growth, as I said, and transformation in the daily basis. And thank you for providing me such a wonderful platform to share my experiences, which might incite many of the youngsters, coming youngsters, to our organization. Thank you.
Thanks, Chanel. Thanks, Priyamvada. Hi everyone, I'm Srija. I'm the campus recruiter for J&J. So, of course, after the presentation, you may have some questions on your mind. Hopefully, one of you will have an internship, right? So, we are currently hiring interns. We are hiring students who have expertise in biotechnology and biomedical engineering. So, if you have not received the document, you will be reading it from your phone. So, we will keep it live for around 1 or 2 days. If you have not received the document, you will be reading. In the interest of transparency, I'll just take you quickly through our hiring process. Once you submit your CVs, we will take a look at the whole pool and then we will calculate the median of the CGPAs, the 10th score, the 12th score, etc. And we will take the top 50th percentile and the first top 50th percentile will take a cognitive assessment. The cognitive assessment is only 15 minutes. It's gamified. You can play it from your phone. So we will keep it live for around 1 or 2 days. If you clear the cognitive assessment, you will go ahead and proceed to the functional assessment. That is where all the things that you're learning in college or may have learned in college will come into play. It is based on your syllabus. Incidentally, the questionnaires have been created by our interns. So some of your seniors have just completed their internships with us and they were kind enough to take a look at the syllabus and create this functional assessment for us. So hopefully you will not get any out of syllabus questions. And then if you clear the functional assessment, we will have some group discussions. Everyone will take part in only one group discussion. Once you clear that, we have one round of personal interview and then finally we release the offer. And very much like Shunel and Priyambada, if you do well during in your internship, you will get a full-time offer to join us. And so I hope to see a lot of applications. And welcome to J&J in advance. I think we can take some questions now. You can put them in the chat, and the Naukri team will assist us with answering all your queries. You can ask anything starting from what could be the content of the cognitive assessment to I am studying engineering, so why should I consider a career in sales? You can ask about the culture, anything that you like. Okay, so we'll just take a couple of minutes to collect questions. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we will take the rest of the time during this webinar to answer all your questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rija. So, all the attendees, you can see a chat box on your right corner. So, you can post any question or any query you have. You can post the questions over there. We will take it ahead and we'll be happy to answer all those. So, candidates who are raising the hand, make sure you're just posting the questions in the chat box and we'll take it ahead. So, there's one question, Srija. Do you provide any internship programs to the graduate also, especially from naturopathy?
From naturopathy, is it? Not
Correct.
for MedTech. No, not for MedTech. We have a separate division called Innovative Medicine. So they may, but it's honestly not very frequently. Currently, we don't have any vacancies. No, not for naturopathy. Sorry.
Thank you, Shrija. So next is what will be the job location?
So when you apply for the job, you will see that we will ask for your location preference. So we will ask you for your top three cities roughly, and whichever cities you provide, it can be tier one or tier two, we will try to place you in those cities.
Okay. I hope these answers. Also, we have one question wherein candidates are asking if all the process will be conducted online or there will be a physical interview or assessment.
No, the whole process will be conducted online. All the assessments, GDs, interviews, everything will be conducted online.
Thank you. Okay, let me see if any more questions. I think there are repetitive questions for what would be the package, what would be the CTC for the sales role, any incentive structure.
We definitely have sales incentives because at the end of the day, it is a sales role. But that is only for the full-time role, not for the internship, because the internship is when you come and learn. During the internship, you will get a stipend. When you go to apply on the job page, you will see what the stipend is. I'm not allowed to say it loud during the webinar, guys.
No worries. The next question we have, do we have any opportunity to work in abroad or go for visits in abroad?
Not this early in your career, no. But as you climb up the ladder, yes, we do have movements. Again, I will be honest here and say they are not very frequent, not very common, but it's also not completely unheard of. But this early in your career, no.
Okay. Also, there are four, five questions wherein candidate has been asking, like, what will be the assessment dates, when we will be starting the process, at what time we should expect to get the invites.
Yes. So I think applications are open till 20th April. So I mean, we will just be collecting applications till then. Then I will need a couple of days to calculate the medians and release the shortlist to the Naukri team, who will then reach out to you. So after that, we will keep the cognitive ability assessment open for 2 days, but it takes 15 minutes. So within those 2 days, you can take out any 15 minutes that you want to, and you can take the assessment from your phone. Once we have the cognitive ability results, again, a couple of days later is when we will trigger the functional assessment. Functional assessment for everyone, it's going to be 20 minutes. Again, it's all MCQ questions. There are no negative marking, but it will be proctored. So please be mindful of that.
Thank you, Srija. Also, there's one question wherein if MTech biotechnology students would be considered for the role, or do you have any opening in future wherein MTech can be considered?
So right now we are not hiring MTech students, unfortunately, but you can always keep an eye out on our careers website, which is careers.jnj.com. Whenever we have roles open, we post them to that website. And since you are going to be graduating fresh from college, I'll be the ones taking a look at your resume when the openings come out. And I can assure you that I go through every resume manually. Even though we have an ATS, I still screen everything manually so that no one gets missed. So please keep an eye out on our careers website. If you are not pursuing a BTech in biomedical engineering or biotechnology right now, I'm sure some opportunity or the other will open up throughout the year for you.
Okay. Thank you, Srija. I think there are most of the questions that are repeated and we have already answered it. I hope everybody, your doubts were cleared, you got all the information. Just a request, please keep eye on your emails. You'll get all the update over your emails via the Naukri campus team, via the calls, voice calls. So please be attentive over your emails, right? Anything else from your team, Srija?
No, but Alok, do you want to take a couple of minutes just to, tell students why, despite studying engineering, they should consider a career in sales? Or to put it more accurately, why we are looking at BTech students for sales roles?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm audible, right, Shuja?
Yes.
Okay. So with respect to the question that you asked, so team, I'll just give you a quick background of myself. So obviously, I'm an MBA graduate. Having said that, I started my career as a frontline sales rep in sales. Having done that, I have dabbled in marketing. I've worked in commercial operations, and now right now I'm in a as a BU head. I'm in a general management role. So the opportunities that are given are here, as long as you are open to challenges, will be immense. Now, why specifically biomedical engineers or biotechnological engineers? Simply because, as I say, in MedTech, we are at the confluence of medicine as well as technology. The medical devices that we are proud of are basically deployed in a human body for a longer use. And who better than a biomedical engineers to understand the the intricacies of a human body? Now, from an average graduate to a biomedical engineer, we do understand your IQ with respect, as well as your understanding of human anatomy, will be significantly better compared to a average graduate. And that's the reason why you will see a value in this. Now, does that mean that once you join in sales, that's where you will stay lifelong, or there will be no other opportunities? Obviously not. That's not the case. There are enough examples in the system who have probably started with sales, moved to marketing. Some of them have actually gotten into strategy. Some of them, depending on their liking and ability, have actually transitioned towards the R&D part as well, because all of us who are on the field are the brand ambassadors. So whatever we hear in the field in terms of a gap in a particular solution area, it is up to us to convey the same to the organization. And in that way, we also feel that someone like yourself, who are well aware of the technology part as well as the biomedical part of it, will go a long way in appreciating the intricacies of our product. As a result, your delivery to the surgeons in terms of the product benefits as well as the other details will be far more smoother compared to anyone else out there. So that's primarily, I would suggest, is the binding factor for us to look for a biomedical background graduates.
Thank you so much, Alok. Aslisha, I think I saw a couple of people mention in the chat if we could redisplay the QR code. So I will share my screen, but can we also put the link for the microsite in the chat, please?
Sure, sure, I will.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. We will stick around for another 2 to 5 minutes in case you have more questions. And I will also display my screen so you can access the QR code. Yeah? Aslisha, please let us know if we have any new questions coming in.
Sure.
So, Shrija, there's a quick question that what would be the criteria or the eligibility criteria to get shortlisted for the assessment test?
So for in terms of the eligibility criteria, right now the only one that we have is that you must be a BTech in biotechnology or BTech in biomedical engineering. Like Alok explained, it's very crucial to the job at hand that people have awareness of the tools that we use, the technology that we use, but also the human anatomy and biology. And hence, that's why those two degrees were shortlisted for the time being. Once we get all the applications, like I mentioned, that is when we will calculate the median for the whole pool in terms of the graduation CQPI, the class 12 marks, and the class 10 marks. And then we will take the top 15% who will then be able to take the cognitive assessment. But it's not like we have a cutoff in mind that you should score 75%, 90%, anything like that. We will take a look at what the median for the entire applicant pool is. I will calculate the median, and then the top 50% will proceed ahead to the next stage, which is the cognitive assessment.
Okay. There's one more question for, can you please share academic batch that I can be applied for?
Okay, so we are looking at graduates from 2024, those who are graduating in 2025, and those who will graduate in 2026.
After the internship ends, will we get the full-time role immediately?
So after the internship ends, the way we process it at J&J is once your internship ends, you're going to get an offer from us if you have performed well for a full-time role. But we cannot convert interns to full-time directly on the system, so we will take a couple of weeks to onboard you as a fresh employee in the system. But in terms of getting the offer, will it be immediate? Yes, you will get it within a week of completing your internship, yes.
I hope that
But again, it
answers.
is dependent on performance.
So one more question we have, Srija. If the candidate has completed the diploma and not completed his 12, so are these candidates applicable for the role?
Yes, if you are pursuing or have pursued a BTech in biotechnology or biomedical engineering, if you pursued a diploma instead of, the normal board exams, you are still eligible to apply, yes.
Okay, I think we are almost coped up with all the questions that the candidate has asked. I think we are good. We are good on the questions part.
Okay. Thanks, Aslesha. I would just like to end this webinar on a note that is, people, if you are pursuing a BTech in biotechnology or biomedical engineering, please go ahead and apply. Please don't worry about your 10th, 12th graduation marks. That is for me to worry about, because every shot you don't take, you miss. So please feel free to go ahead and apply. Cracking the internship is the first stage. And once you come to J&J as an intern, we can, always discuss more about full-time opportunities and career prospects. So all the very best to everyone who has joined, and thank you so much to all my fellow panelists who joined in today, Alok, Priyamvada, Chanel, and of course the Naukri team for ensuring a smooth facilitation of the entire webinar. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, team. Have a great day, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.